All right, guys. Our next guest can be seen weeknights successfully coaching his team to victory in the latest season of The Ultimate Fighter. He's currently set to face Cody Garbrandt on July 8th at UFC 213, where he gets the long-awaited opportunity to win back the UFC bantamweight belt. However, the bout is up in the air with Cody potentially being injured. He's here to talk about all that and more. TJ Dillashaw, thanks for joining us. Welcome back. How are you today?
I'm doing good, man. Thanks for having me.
So, TJ, set the scene for us. How and when did you exactly find out that you wouldn't be attending the UFC Summer Kickoff press conference?
I didn't find out until I was actually on my way to the airport. My wife got a text message from someone that works for the UFC saying that TJ knows he's not supposed to show up to the press conference, right?
Wow.
And she's like, no, he's actually heading to the airport right now. You know what I mean? So I thought it was a little fishy that my flight just got canceled, and I didn't really, know what was going on. But I was just told that Cody had some things that he wouldn't be able to make it because of some reason. They didn't tell us exactly why.
Wow. What was your what was your reaction? Obviously, your wife tells you, "Hey, TJ, this is off." Take us from there. What was going through your mind?
I think my first initial reaction was the fact that Cody didn't want to show up because of the way he's been looking on TV. He's been showing his true colors on TV, and I didn't think he wanted to be interviewed about it. I didn't think he wanted to be asked about it. I knew that I had a lot of ammunition on him, and just didn't want to show up. But the more I thought about it, that didn't really make sense. Dana doesn't let guys just miss the press conference. He pulled Conor McGregor from UFC 200 because he wasn't showing up to the press conference. So, why would he give Cody any kind of lenience? So I really started thinking about it. My wife started getting my head about it. A couple of my training partners thought, that everyone just thought that for some reason Cody was going to try to pull out of this fight. So I called him out on social media, and sure enough, he answered back saying that his back's hurt and he's heading to Germany to get some procedures done.
Wow. So I'm wondering, obviously, you guys have a lot of things going on between you on The Ultimate Fight, and we know that, the whole WWE side and trash talk and all that kind of stuff, it's not really your thing. But did you watch the press conference, and did you see how everybody was sort of getting in on it? What did you think when you saw it? Did you kind of miss being there? Did you think, wow, that would have been fun? Or you kind of like, you know what, kind of dodged a bullet there. This would have been a little bit much.
No, I didn't watch the press conference, but I mean, that's how they usually go. They usually see you all on stage just so you guys can talk crap to each other, and it's yeah, man. I mean, it wasn't like something I was looking forward to doing, but I still wanted to show up. I actually, even though Cody wasn't going to go, I was actually going to continue to go, even though I got the text and saying he wasn't going to be there. It kind of pissed me off. I was on the way to the airport, so I was going to go anyways, but my flights got canceled, and once I found out it got canceled, I wasn't going to pay to go out there.
Yeah.
I'm curious, TJ, if you were able to get up there and they sort of weren't expecting to have you up on stage, would you have sort of tried to get your way up there anyway, considering you were originally supposed to be on there? Like, if that flight wasn't cancelled, do you think you probably would have gone out there just because you were a bit pissed off and just at least tried to get up on stage with all the other fighters?
Oh, absolutely, man. I mean, I do my job. I show up when I'm supposed to. I do things I'm supposed to do, and I feel like I hold myself as a professional, and yeah, if I was there, I would try to get on stage and do my job.
Right.
Someone's got to sell this fight.
Right. Well, what's the gut feeling from your end at the moment? Do you think it'll happen at UFC 213? And mentally, are you still locked into the idea that you're fighting Cody then, or are you sort of preparing for the worst case scenario and already mentally preparing for other options?
I'm preparing for the soonest date, which is July 8th. So I'm gotta stay focused, continue to train, and even though my opponent doesn't seem like he's gonna be able to get there, I still got to be ready for it, Dana says as far as he's concerned, he's still going to be fighting July 8th, but I highly doubt it. Cody seems very mentally weak to me, and he's already making excuses about what's going on with his back. He said that he's been hurt for months and that he was supposed to be cleared March 1st. Well, he was running around looking like an idiot on The Ultimate Fighter, and his back didn't seem to be bothering him then. We did the coaches challenge. He was trying to get in everyone's face, trying to fight then, but now all of a sudden, when we're getting closer to the fight and things are about to get real, he's hurt.
I'm curious, TJ, what exactly did the UFC, what was the exact update from the UFC? Did Dana White call you himself and tell you that this fight will still happen? Or are you sort of going off updates like all the other people where you just see a press conference and see Dana White speaking to the media and that's the only sort of indication that you've gotten?
No. As soon as I put out that post and saw that Cody wrote back about his back, I instantly called Dana and hashed it out with him, and he was saying that he was sending him to Germany to get some procedures done that he's never seen not work, and so he's very confident that Cody would be fighting. I mean, that's as far as I know for now, and then as soon as Dana says he'd hear something, he'd let me know.
Right. And obviously, you know, you don't have too much choice other than to keep training, to keep, you know, putting in your preparation. But at the same time, it's kind of like you sort of going to the unknown. Is there a time frame for you when you'll know officially if he'll definitely be fit to fight? Did Dana White sort of say, all right, here's the procedure, the recovery time is generally X amount of weeks or days, and is there sort of a cutoff point for you where if you don't hear any updates, you got to sort of make changes to your preparation?
You know, I don't know. I mean, I guess really, I mean, obviously I want to know as soon as possible, but yeah, man, I've spent a lot of money on getting my camp set up, getting the right training partners I need, the right coaches, so yeah, man, the sooner I know, the better, because then I could, you know, change up my timeline. I'm going to continue to train, but obviously fight camp's a little bit different. You know, you don't cut any edges, you don't cut any corners, you make sure you get everything done. So, yeah, man, I would definitely like to know, because I would like to know when I'm getting ready for, you know, and that's why I told Dana, like, I'm not going to sit around and you know, in my mind, I'm champion of the world. You know, I didn't lose my belt to Dominic Cruz. I fought the #1 contenders. I still feel like I'm champion. I'm tired of not being called the champ. I want my belt back, and if Cody's not able to fight, if I'm going to have to wait around for Cody, I told him I'd drop down to 25s, and I'd love him to fight Demetrious Johnson and stop his record-breaking history fight. You know, he's his next fight is the one that breaks the record to make him the most title defenses in UFC history, and I'd love to drop down and put a squash to that.
For sure. And I want to touch on that, but just quickly, TJ, I think a lot of fans and even ourselves, we sort of see the finished product. We see fighters arriving on fight night, and we sort of don't really realize what goes into it. Just take us through it. How much does a championship camp like this cost when you're preparing, you know, for a title fight? What's the cost involved for you?
You know, everyone handles it differently. You know, I mean, I try to make the most gains I possibly can. So, you know, I look for new training partners. You know, bring in what coaches I feel like I need to for what opponent I'm going against. Same with the training partners, you know. I've been traveling around doing a lot of boxing with some big name boxers. You know, I got to work with Lomachenko, working with Terrence Crawford, trying to get up in the wild card down in Southern California. Working with a new strength conditioning coach, Sam Calavita. I'm working with my old guys as well, but just kind of picking the brains of some new coaches, and you know, he's doing a lot with my diet as well as my strength conditioning and making some big gains, man. So, you know, I'm a student of the game, and I'm looking to expand my mind however I possibly can, and that's to travel the world and training with the best, and really getting into those uncomfortable situations, sparring against new guys, sparring against top level fighters as well as boxers, and get out of your comfort zone. You know, it's easy to do the same thing day in and day out, but to travel the world and put yourself in those uncomfortable situations is what makes you a better martial artist.
Let's go back to this Demetrious Johnson fight, because, I mean, a lot of people got excited when they heard about it. What exactly was Dana White's response when you said that that's a fight that you're interested in? And if this Cody fight doesn't happen, is there still a chance Dana tries to make this fight happen?
I really hope so. I mean, he loved it. He loved the sound of it. I mean, he loved the story that I put behind it. You know, that I'm willing to. I mean, it's gonna be a big sacrifice. I'm gonna have to cut a lot of weight. I could do it. I'm not a big 35 pounder, but it's definitely, I'm lean. You know, I'm not like I'm not carrying a bunch of extra weight that I can't use. You know, so it's gonna take a whole different style of training. I told him, I was like, look, man, I'm willing to drop down to fight Demetrious at 25s. You know, he's trying to break this record. It's a big deal. No one wants to see him fight someone that he doesn't know or someone he's already beaten for this record. Let's make this thing like a big deal. You know, let's put some money behind this thing. He's talking about how much money he wants to make on his next fight. Well, he's not going to do that by fighting number 8s and 10s. You know, in my mind, the guy that deserves a shot the most is Joseph Benavidez. Joseph Benavidez has the shot the most to be able to put Demetrious down, but Joseph Benavidez just got put on the shelf for the knee injury. You know, and I would never want to step in front of that guy on anything what he's got going on. But with circumstances going on, I don't want Demetrious just to take an easy fight to try to break the record. We should make this thing the real deal. And he's talking about how he's pound for pound the best in the world, then prove it.
Well, I think you make a really solid case, TJ. I mean, you know, there's a lot of rematches left for Demetrious, and you're a fresh face, obviously, you know, making a sacrifice cut down to 125. What did you make of Demetrious Johnson's response where he basically said that it wasn't a super fight and that there are other contenders who have earned the shot before? What did you make of that?
It's not a super fight. I'm coming down to 25s. It's a challenger at his weight class.
Yeah.
That will give him the biggest challenge possible, and that's what he's scared of. You know, he wants to take an easier fight that's going to give him the record so that he can have the most title defenses in UFC history. But that doesn't mean anything when you're not fighting the most worthy opponents. You know, you can't call yourself the best pound for pound fighter if you're going to dodge me. You know, I'm the toughest fight for him. I got the utmost respect for Demetrious Johnson. You know, he's a great competitor inside the octagon. He's a great human being outside the octagon. I have a lot of respect for him. But this comes down to, you know, selling a fight. He wants to make some big money. Let's do it, man. This is about as big as it's going to get for him.
And this would still be for the July 8th card, if possible. Is that right? If Cody falls out, would you still be aiming to possibly do it on that card?
I mean, I think he'd probably want some more time. I don't think he's been training either. I think shooting for that John Jones and Cormier card would be amazing. You know, Dana already said he doesn't want to make them guys the headliner, so why not put me and Demetrious in front of them? You know, what bigger fight could you have in front of those two guys besides me and Demetrious? You know, it gives them a little bit more time to get prepared. It gives me more time to change my body. You know, right now I'm still in the process of putting strength and size on. You know, like I said, I'm not a big 35-pounder, so the beginning of my camps are always getting bigger and putting that good strength on so that I can cut the weight later in camp. But you know, it'd be real hard to make it July 8th. If I had a couple extra weeks to start changing the way I'm training, changing the way I'm eating, it'd be no problem at all. You know, I'm a professional. I can make the weight.
Yeah, for sure. And TJ, believe us, we'll be at UFC 214. So if you wanna fight on that card, we'd be more than happy to go over there and then obviously cover that. And just wondering, how do you feel you match up with Demetrious? I know this is kind of fresh, but have you had a chance to really think much about what a fight between the two of you would look like?
Absolutely, man. I mean, my plan was to get my belt back first and foremost, you know, and to beat Cody and to shut his mouth, you know. But I've always been thinking that I would love to be able to drop down and fight Demetrious. You know, he's pound for pound the best fighter in the world. My goal is to be that pound for pound best fighter in the world. The only way to do that is to beat the best. So I've definitely thought about fighting Demetrious. You know, it's crossed my mind multiple times, and I think I match up with him very well. You know, I can match up with his stamina. He beats a lot of guys with how much stamina he's got and how hard he works and how hard he pushes, and he's a safe fighter. You know, he stays real composed and does things very safe. You know, I feel I'm the better grappler. I'd be stronger than him. I'd be able to push the pace just like he does. And my footwork, you know, he gets away with using a lot of footwork, and I'd be able to keep up with him. The guy's fast. Don't get me wrong. He's super fast and good, but you know, I think I match up with him really well.
If you sort of had to look at who was the bigger challenger, Cody or Demetrious, which one do you sort of lean towards as a tougher challenge?
Oh, Demetrious for sure. You know, he's just so well-rounded and so fast, and it's proven it. You know, he's very technical. It's a tough fight. It's a very tough fight. Don't get me wrong. I mean, but that's why I want it. You know, I want that fight because of that reason. He's pound for pound best. He's a puzzle that people haven't been able to really figure out lately. You know, he's been getting better and better with each fight. And, yeah, I think he's the greater challenge.
A while ago on our show, Cody said that he had a hit list that basically consisted of Cruz, yourself, and John Lineker. I believe we've spoken to you about it in the past. Considering the state of everything, is it fair to say that, you know, if you had a hit list, yours would basically consist of Cody, the Cruz rematch, and then Demetrious?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Those are the top three guys that I would love to fight. Absolutely.
Is there?
And it doesn't get any better than that. I mean, think about it. You got a champ of the world. You got Dominic Cruz, the big name, and Demetrious Johnson. Those are all great names to fight.
And let's say this fight did come together and you were able to beat Demetrious and become the champion. Is that a goal of yours to hold both the bantamweight and the flyweight belt? Is that sort of, I suppose you're doing it the other way around. You mentioned how you wanted to beat Cody, become champion, and then drop down. But is that always sort of been a goal for you?
I mean, 135 is my belt. You know, I still believe that. I still believe I'm still the best of that weight class. So, I mean, that is my goal in hand, is to get that back. But you know, this guy's going to go and get his back hurt. You know, he's got a hurt back. He's got to get it fixed. So I'm not going to sit around and wait for that title fight. Like I said, I want a belt. And 25s is a great story. You know, so all I know now is that I want to fight Demetrious Johnson, and we'll figure it out from there.
Love it. We love that
the guy's trying to break the all-time record. You know what I mean? Like, I think it's a huge, huge fight. It's a great platform. I can make the weight. Let's give him a real challenge. Let's see if he's the best pound-for-pound fighter in the world. You know, I mean, who's he going to fight next? Joseph Benavidez is out. So who's he got? You know what I mean? Like, nothing really makes sense. I mean, I am the next in line. Let's do it.
Speaking of that, just quickly before we move off Demetrious, I mean, he's obviously had some amazing title defenses, but most notably, especially in his last fight, you know, the ratings quite haven't been there. When you kind of look at what he does in the octagon compared to, you know, a lot of people not really watching his fights, what's your reaction to that? What do you think sort of has gone wrong from him in the public perception that he doesn't get as many, you know, eyeballs on his fights as a lot of the other champions?
You know, I like that Demetrious doesn't go out there and talk trash. You know, it's not. He's a respectable human being and a great professional fighter. And it's not the only reason why his fights aren't selling. It's because there's not a story behind anything. There's no build-up to where this would be the build-up that he's been missing out on. You know, another high-profile fighter making a sacrifice to try to beat him breaking the record. You know, like this is it. There doesn't have to be any trash talk. This could be the best two fighters getting after it, and that's going to sell tickets. I mean, I think this is going to be one of the most exciting fights that they can put together. You know, I mean, I think we should headline in front of John Jones and Cormier and make this card ridiculous.
Yeah, I think it'd be a great addition to the card, TJ. We appreciate the time you're giving us, TJ. Before we let you go, obviously we've got to talk about The Ultimate Fighter. Talk to us about that. Have you been watching it on TV now that it's airing? And just wondering, what is it like for you rewatching and reliving all those moments again?
Yeah, man, I have been watching it. You know, I mean, it's been fun reliving it. You know, it just kind of shows how hard I worked. You know, I really enjoyed coaching Ultimate Fighter, and not because of the drama, but I enjoyed actually being a coach. I enjoy coaching. I've always enjoyed it. You know, when I was at Alpha Male, I was coaching the pro practices 3 times a week, and I really enjoyed it. You know, it was a lot of work. I couldn't be a trainer and a fighter at the same time, but you know, at this point in time, I knew that I didn't have a fight coming up, so I really got to soak up being a coach, and feel like I did really good at it, man, and I enjoyed it. So it's nice to be able to relive it and re-see it, and I hope everyone else gets to see, you know, how much passion I have for it.
A lot of people have expressed that they feel like Cody's been a bit too relentless and aggressive towards you on the show, almost like you're being ganged up on, and it made a lot of people kind of gravitate towards you and emphasize with you. What do you think of that sentiment, and have you sort of felt that shift from the fans?
I mean, I felt it before the show happened. I mean, this has been going on a lot longer than that. The world just gets to see it now. You know what I mean? I mean, this is stuff I've been dealing with on a daily basis with these guys trying to be dicks on social media and trying to call me out and just trying to, like, team up and make up these stories and do what they have to do to try to badmouth me, you know? But, you know, true colors come out. Eventually, it'll all be shown. And, yeah, man, it's nice to actually see everyone else getting to see what's going down, you know?
Yeah, and I think some of the other biggest feedback has been basically that you're doing a tremendous job as a coach, and obviously at the moment, you know, Team Dillashaw or Team Killishaw is undefeated. There were obviously quite a few times on the show where things got physical, and, you know, namely the throat grab in the first episode. And I think the way you sort of handled it also speaks to your professionalism. But
yeah.
what is going through your mind during those moments, and how are you able to stay so calm and professional throughout those altercations? Because, you know, there's other times where sort of he gets in your face and you're able to just laugh it off.
I mean, pretty much it just comes down to being a professional and being a good person, man. I mean, really, my parents raised me to be the way that I am, and I know that there's kids watching me that look up to me. I got my family watching me, and I just want to be able to look back on my career and know I handled myself the way that I wanted to. That I wasn't a sellout, didn't act like a jerk. You know, he might be able to get away with the stuff that he does. He might have been raised that way, or that's just his environment, but it just doesn't sit well with me. So it's easy. For me, it's like, let him look like a fool, let him act like a fool, stay professional, and do what I can, you know?
We got an interview the other day where Cody mentioned that you sometimes send him private messages. I'm just curious, is that true? And have you messaged him at all since you found out about his back? And have you guys sort of been talking behind the scenes a little bit?
Well, once again, that is a complete lie. You know, like I hardly even go on social media anyways. I mean, it's not like I go on there and answer any comments or doing that kind of stuff anyways. I mean, it's just one of his other tactics to try to create stories. You know, this never ending with these alpha male guys, and Cody especially. He'll say whatever he needs to, but no, not true whatsoever.
Ah, that's interesting. Well, overall, TJ, I mean, so far 4-0. You look like you're doing great on as far as your team goes. Overall, how do you view this? How do you view this sort of experience of Tough? Was it a positive experience for you, and anything you would change when you're looking back on it?
Yeah, man, super positive experience. You know, it just kind of proved to me that I made the complete right choice with my life and what I'm doing. You know, I'm not living that childish frat boy life anymore with Team Alpha Male. You know, I've moved past that. You can see how much of a better coach I am. It's just, you know, I had a lot of reserves going into the show, not wanting to do it, just knowing the drama that was going to be with the show. And I've always wanted to coach Ultimate Fighter, but, you know, obviously coaching with Alpha Male wasn't something that I was very pumped about. But I'm super glad that I did it. A lot came of it. And, yeah, like I said, it just like reinstated that the choice I made was correct.
All right. Well, before we let you go, we know you're a man who likes to live his life and be active. You've always got a bunch of business ventures going on. You're out hunting or living the Rambo life. Any new stories you can tell us from your outdoor adventures or anything cool coming up in the life of TJ Dillashaw that the fans should hear about?
You know, nothing hits mind. I mean, since I've talked to you guys last, I mean, all I've done was coach Ultimate Fighter and been training since. You know, I mean, I'm building a house that's just about to be done in Colorado that it's going to be lakefront property that I'm excited to be able to wake up every morning, go jump on my boat, do some wakeboarding, maybe a little bit of fishing here and there, but perfectly fits my lifestyle. But, you know, other than that, it's just been traveling the world and training, you know, getting into the boxing world a little bit.
Well, there you go, TJ. All right, well, we really appreciate you squeezing us in. We know you're a busy man, guys. Don't forget to follow him on Twitter and Instagram at TJ Dillashaw. A lot of fun stuff there. If you like knives, there's a lot of stuff going on with knives that TJ Dillashaw is always showing off. He's got a crazy knife collection, always doing things like hunting and, like you mentioned, wakeboarding and crazy outdoor activities. And TJ, we got our fingers and toes crossed for you that this fight pans out with Cody on July 8th with no issues. And if not, we hope that you get this Demetrious Johnson fight. And we've been more than happy to see you at UFC 214. So at the moment, the fight is Cody Garbrandt, July 8th, UFC 213 in Las Vegas. And again, TJ, we appreciate the time.
Absolutely, guys. Thanks for having me on.